we go. Unfreaking believable. Unbelievable. I gotta be honest with you, that game drove me nuts. I cannot believe the Buccaneers lost that game. Wow. I don't even know what to say. Tough one. Man, that was an absolute blazer from the Cooch, wasn't it?
What a crazy game. The Bulls are bowl-bound for the third season in a row. An incredible performance. And listen, we know the competition. They did what they had to do. No more silver linings. No more moral victories. It was put up or shut up time. And boy, did they rise to the occasion.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Recher podcast. How is everybody doing on this Monday, March 9th? I know there's a little bit of trepidation right now when it comes to the NFL free agents, in NHL free agency, and what's going on with Mike Evans. We'll get into that. We'll tackle it all here momentarily. Again, thank you for joining me. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. I am everywhere. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well. I could not do this without you guys. A big thank you to our partners, Honest Hammer Custom Builders LLC, and of course Evra Health. You guys are the best. Our Evra Health injury report every Thursday at 12:30 with Dr. Carlos Rodriguez. You can always chime in on the conversations, questions, comments, concerns. Put them there at the bottom of the screen if you want to talk about anything. I am here for you already. Benny's here. Insane Bolts game last night. We will definitely talk about the 8-7. What the hell was that? David Terry, that was a war, my friend. And to come out with no points, we lost the war. That one hurt to the bone. Yes, the Lightning now in second place for the first time in a while, but they've got 2 games in hand over the Buffalo Sabres. I'm not concerned all that much. Lenny Ferraccio, or as we like to call him, Rays fan Gio, USF. That is right. A absolutely tremendous weekend for USF Athletics. And if you didn't see the tweet by Rob Higgins about what happened this weekend for your Bulls, absolutely incredible. Happy Monday to Marissi Riss 87. Marissi Riss. Why 2 Y's? I get the 2 S's, but why the 2 Y's? You're kind of cute. You single? Oh, snap. Honest Hammer, LFG, what's up, my friend? Bagel is a badass. Yes, he was throwing down with Rasmus Dahlin, and he actually got fined $5,000 for that. Rowdies here. Unfortunately, I didn't have the feeling the Bolts would win that game even when we were up 2. Buffalo was just a little faster, more pressing all night. Buffalo is definitely one of the fastest teams in the National Hockey League. It really is one of those new rivalries in hockey. And you got to certainly keep an eye out for Buffalo and Tampa if they meet in the postseason. Unbelievable. The Gators are clicking, Janet, the first lady of the Recher podcast. We do appreciate you. I have a meeting today. Nope, you're not single? God dang it. Guys, am I going to be single forever? I mean, she's kind of cute. Go look her up. Damn. Today, I actually have a meeting at 4 o'clock today for the Recher podcast swag. Finally, we will be in a meeting today, and we are going to get it rolling. T-shirts, sweatshirts, and we will go from there. I want to see if I can do something custom so you can customize your shirt. We'll find out today, but I showed some of the people that were watching last week the logo. So it should be fun. Color and black and white as well. Look who it is. Our Carolina correspondent, Steve Garner here. And the Lightning play the Carolina Hurricanes this Saturday. So that should be a good one. The Lightning back at home for 3 home games starting tomorrow night against the Columbus Blue Jackets. So you know I'll be there at Benchmark International Arena. So we'll be doing our show from the arena Tuesday and Thursday of this week. Should be a lot of fun. And yeah, we'll go from there. Recher podcast socks. I don't know. Maybe. Come back, Mike, please. Come back, Mike, please. It's about time, she says. She wants shirts. The new logo is the bomb. Marissa, I think you're the bomb. Maybe you're thebomb.com. That's right, guys. I'm flirting on my show today. It's a Monday, damn it. All right. So when we're looking at this entire day, a lot of it is going to be NFL free agency. And We don't necessarily know so much about Mike Evans, but maybe we do. We'll talk about that in a second, because once we start talking about Mike Evans, I really don't want to turn the page for another 20 minutes or so. But we'll talk about that. We will also discuss the crazy weekend for USF Athletics. Also, the crazy game last night between the Lightning and the Sabres. And then UFC 326 over the weekend. The BMF fight, which left a lot to be desired. And then also the UFC White House announcement, which I wasn't like blown away with. NFL free agency, and then World Baseball Classic. Has anybody been tuning in? It has been amazing. And then last but certainly not least, 2 huge wins from over the weekend for our Tampa Bay Rowdies and Tampa Catholic Baseball in their huge one-on-one match with Jesuit on Saturday. I rushed over after our games. I just felt that I burned myself. I was making some of those like Trader Joe's pizza, and I kind of banged my fingers on the I just realized I burned myself. I'm like, why does this keep bothering me? And then, oh yeah, I burned myself right there on my hand. Right here. Right there. I'm burned, guys. I don't think I can continue to do the show. I definitely can. Free agency is heating up. You're right, Steve. The fax machine. Ashley Evans, please save us. Yes, she did. She stepped in last time. Junior has been killing it in the WBC. Skiing's on the bump tonight. Got to have it strong versus Mexico. Yeah, we'll get into the World Baseball Classic a little bit later on, but we got to talk about NFL free agency and what is going on right now. And we're seeing a couple of things. And now that the legal tampering period is at noon, started at noon, and for all of the kind of back and forth about Mike Evans, and I've told you guys this from the beginning when it comes to any Buccaneers news, if you are not hearing definitive answers from Greg Allman and Rick Stroud and Scott Reynolds and Ira Kaufman, I would be very, very hesitant to give any credence to what you hear nationally. And when I say that, I'm just talking about like pot shots here and there. I mean, we saw Jonathan Jones from CBS over the weekend say something about Mike Evans, and it looks like he's going to leave. And now we're seeing reports today that Jordan Schultz, and there's a couple more people around the country that are saying it looks like Mike Evans is leaning towards leaving Tampa Bay. Now, with that being said, it's not definitive. He can talk to anybody he wants. And I go back to the low-hanging fruit of everybody saying this Mike Evans situation is just like the Steven Stamkos situation. It's really not. It's really not. The Lightning and Steven Stamkos negotiated a deal, and then when Stammer did not agree with the terms, he did not hear back from the Tampa Bay Lightning. There was no second conversation. This is a lot different than the Mike Evans situation where Mike went to the Bucs and was like, hey, what's my figure? He got his figure, and now he's going to see where he stacks up against where, what the rest of the league thinks how much he's worth. Different situation than what happened with Steven Stamkos. Stammer was like, hey, I don't like that. What can we do? And the Lightning did not respond. And he's not just going to not play. So he went to Nashville. That's why things move quickly. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers situation with Mike Evans, Mike goes, all right, how much will you pay me this year? Or how much will what will my contract look like? And they give him a number, and now he's going out and he's kind of shopping around. 2 totally different things. And I don't know why I feel the way I feel about Mike Evans. I'm kind of in a position where it seems like what is it going to take for Mike Evans to stay? What is it going to make for him to stay here? Like, I feel like in his mind, if we've gotten to this point, isn't like, take your Buccaneers hat off of it. Like, do I have one right here? Oh, I had a Bucs hat somewhere. Do I? Oh, it's all the way over there. I'm not getting it now. But take your Buccaneers hat off. Like, if we're at this point right now on March 9th, and don't look back at what has happened so far this year, doesn't it seem like he's gone? Like, again, why, if you want to stay, why, if it's that much of a, like, you know what I mean? We didn't get this far down the road last time. And you didn't hear as many national reports of all right, well, he could be going somewhere else. It looks like he wants to go somewhere else. And then I think back and I think it was Joe Buck's fan or Rock Riley that had the video, or if it was somebody else, I totally apologize for not giving you the right information, but I was there. I just didn't video it when Mike was coming off the field and they lost that game late in the season. And he just kept saying 3rd and 28, 3rd and 28. And he just seemed so frustrated with the defense's inability to get off the field. And what you don't want to do when you're covering sports is you don't want to rush to judgment. Like I thought Levante David was going to retire before last season because he had tears in his eyes. KJ Britt had tears in his eyes, and it just looked like, all right, that was it. It was all said and done. Remember Tom Brady, he's retiring, and then all of a sudden he comes back, and Levante David comes back. So and trust me, I can only really say something like this because of experience. And that's why you have to be careful with who you listen to when it comes to situations like this. That's why I listen to the guys that have been doing this a lot longer than I have, and I've been doing it for over a decade now. You can't rush to judgment because professional athletes, like the rest of us, are very emotional. So at that time, I didn't put too much stock into Mike being frustrated, but it was also out of character. It wasn't something that you heard from Mike a lot. And when you sit there and you take it in, you don't think it's that big of a deal because, again, you don't rush to judgment when you've seen a lot of emotional athletes come off the field, off the ice, off the court. But now I think back and I go, what if that was the tipping point? What if that was the enough is the enough? What if that moment was the straw that broke the camel's back? And he may never admit that. And I doubt he will. I doubt he'll ever throw Jason Light or Todd Bowles or the Buccaneers franchise and organization under the bus. Mike's just not built like that. But sometimes enough is enough. Sometimes you've seen enough and you realize that in order for you to finish your career on your own accord, that you have to make a change and you have to go somewhere else. And if you're Mike Evans, again, you have earned that right. Nobody deserves anything in this world. You earn it. And he's earned that right to be able to do something. But I got to be completely honest with you. I said this last week and I'll say it again. This 100% affects the legacy of Mike Evans. Because you could say about whatever you want about other guys that are here. Mike will end up choosing to leave. Mike's choice. He's got plenty of money. We see this around sports where you get guys to the end of the season or the end of their careers. And like, if that's the most important, we're going to find out a lot about Mike Evans here in the next couple of weeks. It may happen today. We don't know. But we're going to find out what's the most important thing to Mike Evans. And listen, it doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it wrong. Does it affect his legacy? If he leaves, I think it does. You made the choice. You have to live with it. You can't tell me that John Lynch's legacy is the same as Rondé Barber's. And I'm not talking about who's the better player. It's just talking about your legacy. There's something to be said about guys that play for one team their entire career. That's it. That's it. If you disagree, fine. That's your prerogative. It's so few and far between. And you can be unhappy with Mike Evans' decision and still respect everything he did for the Buccaneers. It's not a black or white situation, and I hope everybody can understand that. He's earned the right, yes. But I'm a human being. And my opinion is that it changes my perspective of his career, even if it's just a little bit, when it comes to a guy that had an opportunity to stay here. When it comes to a complete difference between the Mike Evans situation and the Steven Stamkos situation. Jason Light has gone on record to publicly state how much he loves Mike Evans and how much he means to him. It was his first ever draft pick. That was his guy. Steven Stamkos was never Julian Brisebois' guy. And even the other day, when we spoke to Julian outside of Benchmark International Arena at the Cigar City Tap Room there outside of Fort Thunder Alley, he was like, this isn't the band getting back together. He was very kind of staunch in, well, we're not just going to reacquire all the old players from 2020 and 2021. It was like, okay, You brought Corey Perry back. You brought Ryan McDonough back. You brought Yanni Gord back. Okay, fine. That's you may not want to say that, but you did think that it was important to go get guys that were part of long postseason runs in the past to help this team that you're at right now. It is what it is. But again, another difference between those two situations. And he wasn't the only wide receiver that was getting a lot of looks. And we see now, as soon as the window is opened, that the Indianapolis Colts and standout wide receiver Alec Pierce have agreed to a deal. It looks like a 4-year deal worth $116 million. So hold on. Making sure that everybody's tuning in. Now it's funny because Alec Pierce, I watched him at Cincinnati, and I was like, I wonder how good this kid's going to be at in the NFL. And we see it now. I think it's smarter to use your money to be able to retain your free agents than to take a chance on these other guys. And again, going back to Julian Breesbaugh, this is a guy that really understands it's about not just acquiring. And listen, I give credit to Jason Light because I think Jason Light believes that same sentiment as well. It's not just about acquiring, players. It's about acquiring people. So when they go out there, they have to. All right, if you're going to acquire a guy through a trade or you're going to sign him off of another team, you have to do your due diligence and realize, is the juice going to be worth the squeeze here? Is this guy going to add more to my group or take away from my group? Now, if you're Julian Breesbaugh, do you really have to vet a guy like Corey Perry? No, you don't really even have to have the conversation with anybody because you have that experience. So if you're going to do something out of character like the Lightning did and acquired a guy with no term after this year, you're going to do it for a known commodity. They did the same thing last year with Yanni Gord. Remember, Yanni signed the extension. So if you're the Buccaneers, wouldn't you rather spend money on guys that you already know about and there's no questionable character flaws or you know what you're getting? It's the worst thing in this world, right? Is not knowing where you stand. So I think it's good on the Colts. And some people will say, you overspent money or you spent too much money. And I kind of get that. I understand. Maybe you think he's not worth that money, but I think it's a lot better when you are in a situation where you're retaining that type of player. I think less people just look at it and go, I can't believe you did that. It's like, well, you know the guy. You want to keep the guy in the building. So I think it is a little high for him because I don't know if he's a clear-cut number one guy, but we'll see. Also, the Chiefs expect Travis Kelce to return to Kansas City for a 14th season. Looked like other teams were kicking the tires on him, but it looks like if he does come back, it will be Kansas City. But I'm not surprised there. It didn't seem like a swan song for Travis, right? After losing to the Eagles, we were wondering, okay, this is probably going to be the last year. But as the season went on, there wasn't much talk about Travis Kelce retiring. You would think with where he is in the public eye, obviously with Taylor Swift, and right, you would have heard a lot about the retirement tour, kind of on his way out. But you didn't really hear it as much as you thought you would. So not as surprising. Maybe at this point last year, if you would have said, hey, Kelsey's going to play another year, I'd be like, I don't know. But after the season we just saw where they had a bunch of injuries, they didn't make the playoffs, it makes sense that Travis Kelce wouldn't want to go out like that. And he's still got gas left in the tank. And you look at certain teams, you look at dynasties over the years and organizations, when you still have a Hall of Fame tight end, a Hall of Fame coach, and a Hall of Fame quarterback, and they're on the same page. I'm not talking about the Patriots because obviously we know how that relationship unraveled. I was going to say developed, but unraveled with Brady and Belichick. Those guys are going to be chomping at the bit to put together a team. Oh, our time is done. Our window's closed. We'll show you guys. That's scary. It's scary because remember before, and we talk about Brady and Belichick at the end, but there were people that maybe after the second or third Super Bowl thought that was it. I'm sure after 2007 and 2011 when they lost to the Giants, I'm sure there were whispers after those Super Bowls that people thought, all right, well, this is the end of the Patriots dynasty. And then they went on to win after both of those. So something to certainly be cognizant of. Greg Allman, our good pal from Fox Sports, no decision yet on Bucs linebacker Levante David. He's choosing between retiring or returning to Tampa, not listening to any outside offers per his agent, Ron Butler. Also, another move, it looks like Olamide Zacchaeus signing with the Falcons, so he goes back. Olamide Zacchaeus, who was a really good slot receiver with the Falcons during his time there in Atlanta, goes to Chicago. Now he's back to Atlanta, so not much of a surprise there. Patriots signing Ravens defensive end Dramont Jones. And there you go. Baltimore made a strong push to retain him, a midseason trade acquisition, but New England wins out, landing more pass rushing help. So we're hearing more and more about all these different things in the NFL. As soon as that comes down, we will definitely let you guys know. But we are reporting right here on the Jay Recher podcast that Mike Evans is testing the waters. He's looking around, seeing what fits are good for him. Again, he's earned the right, but it'll change his legacy, in my opinion. What is Trader Joe's like, Jay? Is the parking lot as bad as they say? Yes, it's terrible. You cook something? Rude. No, I warmed something up. Mike should stay here. He doesn't have to pay taxes. I'm with you, but what if he goes to the state of Texas? And I think at this point of the year, if the number doesn't matter, then you want to go to a place that you think gives you the best chance to win. It's really nothing, I think, more complicated than that. DT, if I was Mike, I'd wait to see who we get. Are we all in? Are we punting the season away? Mike wants another Super Bowl. Yeah, you're seeing a lot of these battle plans, and I implore you guys to go to Pewter Report and all the guys over there. And happy birthday to our guy Bailey Adams, and happy birthday from last week from Matt Matera. These guys are putting together their battle plans for the Buccaneers off season and doing a great job. And I saw JC Allen, our pal, put one out yesterday as well. Really, really good stuff. I think at times we get maybe 2 fantasy football and 2 general manager, like sign this guy, sign that guy. And then the numbers, when you make those battle plans, come down to where they're actually going to be, because you want it to be able to fit your narrative of making this team the best it could possibly be. But these guys did a pretty good job of not doing that. So go check them out. Tell them that you heard it right here on the Jay Recher podcast. Dustin Smith, Stammer, and now possibly Mike Evans, brutal. CJ, it's a small and exclusive club, one that even Brady isn't a part of, thankfully. Great point, man. Great point. JBB came in 2018, excuse me. Jay Bird, what's up, my pal? What is going on? Tampa Nike Fitness. What are your thoughts on Perry playing on the top line with Cooch and Point? Perry and Cooch always look good together. Listen, I'll tell you what. It can't happen long term because the foot speed and the way that those guys operate, it just doesn't work. And that's the good thing about Corey Perry. Corey Perry is going to have those moments where he's going to be able to shuffle up and down the lineup. And nobody likes doing that more than our guy John Cooper. So moonlighting with those guys, yes. As far as foot speed, as far as playing that many minutes a night, I wouldn't do that at 40 years young. But that's what Corey Perry brings to the table. We see him scoring in all of these games and the intangibles. Like, he's just not going to back down. And I've been saying this about the Buccaneers, and I think this is, people want to make so much of like, oh, he lost all the finals. You think they lost in the finals because of Corey Perry? Like, if he was that much of a problem where in the end he was the reason why they lost, you think people would want to bring him in? You think a team like the Tampa Bay Lightning would want to bring him back? No freaking way. He is a beloved player in the National Hockey League. And I remember last year when he came to Benchmark International Arena with Edmonton, and how many Lightning players were talking to him after morning skate, or it was actually during the Lightning's morning skate. That's what you really get. And that's the thing, is everybody wants to talk about, like, I can cover teams from my home and I can just sit on the couch and blah, blah, blah. No, you can't. No, you can't. Because you know what? You don't see Mike Evans bitching and moaning and saying 3rd and 28 unless you're there in the bowels of Raymond James Stadium. You don't see Connor McDavid talking to Anthony Cirelli and Brandon Hagel and showing how much he loves those guys when everybody and their mother, all those so-called experts in hockey, were not even having Anthony Cirelli and Brandon Hagel on their sheets for the Olympics. And I told you guys a year ago that you guys are nuts if you don't think Cirelli and Hagel are on there. What you see, watching Alex Killorn in the locker room after the Lightning lost the Stanley Cup, that was the look of a guy. The look of a guy that knew that he has played his last game with the Tampa Bay Lightning. So don't tell me it's the same thing covering the game from your couch or at home than going to the stadium, because that's complete bullshit. Don't say anything bad about Atlanta wanting to. As a Buccaneers fan, we should all want that to happen. That's a great point. Yeah, true. And Gonzo look good on that top line with those two, and hopefully he's back soon. Yes, it's the versatility that is going to be key for this Tampa Bay Lightning team. And listen, whether it's Connor Geeky, whether it's some of these guys in the minors, they need as many guys as humanly possible to be able to present, present, different things and different looks to these teams out there. So Adam Schefter just said clarity is expected on Mike Evans' situation before 3 p.m. So there you go, 3 p.m. Also, from our guy Greg Allman, not expecting the Bucs to bring back defensive lineman Greg Gaines, a key backup the last 3 years between Gaines and fellow free agent Logan Hall, plus Kalijah Kancey returning. Bucs defensive front could look much different, and also Elijah Roberts getting more of a look. Giants bringing back tight end Chris Manhertz on a 1-year deal for his 12th NHL season. NFL free agency is flying. It is flying, ready to roll. Premier League sending me emails. Will you be the last fan standing? I'm trying to go to Premier League mornings. That would be fantastic. All right, let's see. I'm keeping an eye on everything going on right now. All right, Kenneth Walker. I know a lot of you guys just said this. I just wanted to get some clarification from Tom Pelissero. Former Seahawks running back, reigning Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker III is signing with the Chiefs. And there you go. Steelers bringing back veteran linebacker Cole Holcomb on a 2-year, $5 million deal. Jets are links to Alex Anzalone and Devin Bush. That Draymond Jones deal, 3 years, $39.5. Eric Stokes returning to the Las Vegas Raiders on a 3-year deal worth $30 million, $20 million guaranteed. Tennessee Titans announced they've re-signed long snapper Morgan Cox. Romeo Doubs is going to go elsewhere, so he's leaving the Green Bay Packers. And the 49ers are looking to explore a trade for left tackle Trent Williams. Listen, future Hall of Famer, no doubt about it, but the injury concerns getting up there in age, I don't know how much I would spend on that. But that's big for the Chiefs to be able to get the running game, and we'll see how it changes. We'll see how it changes with the Kansas City Chiefs and how they, you always look at these different versions of these offenses with these high-profile quarterbacks, and Josh Allen was run, focus on Stephon Diggs, and then you've kind of seen how that game plan is curtailed over the years. Once they brought Joe Brady into the mix, now he's the head coach, and then utilizing a guy like James Cook out of the backfield and knowing that they run a bunch of 2 tight end sets with Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. Now it's the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, push the ball down the field with Tyreek Hill. You have the ultimate safety net in Travis Kelce, but even the running back situation, they did spend that high draft pick on Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but it really didn't work out. We saw Isaiah Pacheco be the guy that really got some tough yards, and they even brought back Kareem Hunt. But now you're bringing in a bona fide star at that position. You're bringing in a guy that is going to be your bell cow running back, and he can do a little bit of everything. He's got that experience. Now we see what they do with the wideout spot. They went out and got Xavier Worthy. They have Rashee Rice. It looks like they're going to bring Travis Kelce back. They just have to continue to get a little bit better and a little bit better. They're going to move some guys. Obviously Leo Chenal is a big guy that they could miss on the defensive side of the football. They've already traded Trent McDuffie in the offseason to the Rams. So this team is kind of going through a metamorphosis right now, and they're gearing up, I've said, for kind of stage 3 Stage 1 was Tyreek. Stage 2 was Kelsey and Mahomes and that crew. And I think this is kind of stage 3 on what this Chiefs team is going to look like for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Let's see. Nathan Elliott, Kenneth Walker to the Chiefs. Chiefs can't afford Walker, Mahomes, Kelsey Jones, and then sign Evans. I'm with you. Bill's salary cap issues, and then they traded for DJ Moore, another team out from the Evans lottery. That's a good point. Kings and Jackets play at 4 p.m. tonight. Liverpool seems to be getting their shit together, maybe. Tampa, Nike, Fitness. Let's go. I have Walker in my fantasy dynasty league. He's the NFL equivalent of a 5-tool player. I mean, I look at that situation, and I think it's a smart move. I think it's a smart move if you're the Kansas City Chiefs. Gear up, man. Gear up, because you just never know when a guy like Patrick Mahomes is going to walk through your door. You don't know. You have no idea. So go out there and give him as many resources as humanly possible. More NFL talk here in a little bit. I wanted to touch on the incredible weekend for USF Athletics. And if you saw the tweet put out this morning, and I want to read it verbatim for you guys. A victory Monday pre-sunrise from the Selman. In addition to the great wins by USF men's and women's basketball, want to give a shout out to all the awesome sweeps by USF Athletics in their competitions this weekend. A 4-game sweep for USF beach volleyball, a 4-match sweep, a 3-game sweep for USF baseball and USF softball. So congratulations to the Bulls, an absolute heater that they're on right now. And to be in the building yesterday for the win over Charlotte and the incredible celebration afterwards. And, you know, I wasn't allowed on the field, which I thought was kind of crappy. You know, been covering this team for more than 10 years. And, you know, when there's only 1 or 2 media members there, I'm the person there, or I'm one of the few people there covering this team when nobody else is. So to get the message as soon as I got there yesterday that I wasn't going to be allowed near the court for some reason, I don't know what I did, or I don't know who I pissed somebody off, but it is what it is. You know, it's kind of shitty though, because, you know, there's a lot of people that only cover the Bulls when it's convenient for them, but that's not going to deter me from giving you guys the best coverage here in the Tampa Bay area. Just some word of, you know, peace of mind and kind of taking the high road here, but just treat people with respect. Treat people with respect, especially when, you know, you weren't the American Conference champions and, you know, when you were there when nobody else was there. I'm asking people out there, remember those people in your life when you weren't at your best. Because, you know, shit changes. Just because shit changes doesn't mean you should change. That's all I got to say about that. But congratulations to the Bulls and an incredible response from USF yesterday. And if you see my video with Coach Brian Hodson, it's all over the internet right now. I don't want you to like me today. I want you to love me in a couple years. Really great response, because I asked him. He mentioned the first thing he mentioned after they won that Amir Abdur-Rahim, this wouldn't be possible without him. And I posted the video last week of why Brian Hodgson was the perfect guy to come in after Amir. And shout out to our guy, Ben Fletcher, who was rewarded, and he was cutting down the nets yesterday for High Point. A lot of love for Ben Fletcher. He was there. He won a big award here recently for what he was able to do last year to help shepherd these young men through that season, which was not easy at all. So a lot of love for Coach Ben. I miss you, Coach Fletcher, the best. But yesterday was a nice night to reflect on Amir Abdur-Rahim and his contributions. And again, Brian Hodson gave him his love, and I asked him a question about what it means to be a leader of young men. And I'm not going to play it now because we got to talk more NFL free agency, but I just wanted to pass that along. It was absolutely incredible. Here's the other thing. She has done enough. She's done enough. Interim coach Michelle Woods-Baxter, who took over in the 11th hour from Jose Fernandez and has this team as the 3 seed going into the American Conference tournament next week. She needs to get that interim tag taken off, and she needs to be named the head coach of this team going forward. The way that these girls have fought, the way that they've stayed together, the way that they've improved, especially on the road as the season has gone on, their play at home, the way that they share the basketball. And I think you look top to bottom, is this the most talented team that we've seen from the USF women's basketball team in the last decade? Probably not. But what the hell does talent mean when you don't have the heart and you don't have the hustle? And that's exactly what this team has shown all year long. And they've won tough games when some of their better players have gone out due to injury. Who has kept everything afloat? Who has steered the ship in the right direction? And that's Coach Michelle Woods-Baxter. She's the only interim coach this year in men's or women's basketball to have over 20 wins. We talk about all gas, no brakes when it comes to USF. We talk about the right people leading these young student athletes on the men's side and the women's side. Interim no more, in my opinion. She's earned it. I hate when people say they deserve something. She doesn't deserve the role as the head coach of this team. She's earned it. She's been here. She's been into those homes. She's supporting the other teams at USF. People are still going to come here because Coach B is there. I'm calling on Rob Higgins. I'm calling on the decision makers at USF. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. All right. Right back to NFL free agency here. Cade Otton looks like he is back. You guys like that move? I think there was some belief that Cade was going to move on. And this is Adam Schefter, Cade Otton returning to Tampa Bay per source. I tell you what, not too surprised. I know there were people that were kind of resigned to the fact that he was going to leave. But listen, like this offense, and I don't think you're going to see it much next year, like to go out and spend money on a tight end that is going to warrant a big contract or is going to bitch and moan when he doesn't get the football, that doesn't make sense. If a guy like Cade Otton will come back to the Buccaneers, do you think he's that unhappy with his role? He'll go somewhere. That's why I kept hearing, we'll go somewhere else to get focused more on, he'll be more of a focal point on the offense. Is that what he wants? Do you know what he wants? How many tight ends are like Travis Kelce and Brock Bowers and George Kittle and Trey McBride? Like those guys are not just, you're not plucking those guys out of the first round. And here's the other thing. I just mentioned those teams. What are their wide receivers looking like? What's that wide receiver room look like? Doesn't look like the Bucs. Even if Mike leaves, you got Godwin. You got Emeka Ibuka. You got Jalen McMillan. You have Tej Johnson. You have a Bucky Irving in the backfield who was at the Bulls game yesterday at the Yuengling Center. So, like, there's only one football to go around. You need a tight end that's going to be like, all right, I'll be ready to catch 8 balls if you need me one week and then catch a total of 8 the next 3. That's kind of what you need. And a guy that's become a much better blocker. And let's not forget, you're going now to a Zach Robinson scheme that is a lot like we saw 2 years ago with Liam Cohen. And going into that season, we were told, this guy's not a great blocker. This guy's not a great blocker. And then you look at Cade Otton and Coke Heath and Payne Durham and Devin Culp. They all blocked their ass off that season. I think you'll see a lot more of that this year. I think seeing a guy like Zach Robinson come here is going to be very exciting for a guy like Cade Otton. Let's hope that it has effects on maybe another guy that is hopefully catching balls from Baker Mayfield. Jonathan Jones again on CBS. He's been the guy that's in front. Mike Evans, he could sign somewhere at any point. I don't think it will be with Tampa Bay. I think his career there is over. He, for some reason, like I don't understand why people do stuff like this. I believe this. This is definitely going to happen. It's like, all right, bro, we got it. Like, how many times do you have to say it? We got it. We got you. You think Mike Evans is going elsewhere? Yeah. Say it again. Go on another show and say it again. Jeez. Former Kansas City Chiefs Jalen Watson reached an agreement today on a 3-year deal with the Los Angeles Rams. Now they have Jalen Watson and Trent McDuffie going the other way. It sounded like, according to Jeremy Fowler from ESPN, the Commanders made an aggressive push for Alec Pierce, as did the Patriots. So, And an understanding from Jordan Renan says the Giants possibly put in an offer for a guy like Kenneth Walker, running back position, man. I don't know, buddy boy. I don't know. I am not spending that type of cash on free agent running backs because, listen, as much as everybody is getting away from being so scared of the running back situation, I still think that there's, truth to that matter. The NFL stands for not for long, and the tread wears off on the tire on these guys as quick as anybody else. It looks like it's a 3-year, $45 million max deal with a base of 14.35 per year. That's not too bad. 28 million guaranteed. Like, these are the kind of deals that make sense. You're going to give it 1 year at the very least. And then you're on the hook for another 14 million and you can spread it out over 2 years. I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. Smart. But if that's the deal, what was the Giants offer, right? And if I'm the Giants too, like, really going out and signing a Kenneth Walker Jr.? No. You bring Tyrone Tracy back. You got Cam Scatterbo. Questions, comments, concerns, put them there at the bottom of the screen. Nancy, sorry that happened, Jay. You should have definitely been on the court. Thank you, Nancy. If there's anybody that realizes how much I care about USF and how much I spend my own time, I don't think I've ever, other than when I worked for when I worked for USF in the play-by-play capacity, every time I covered a USF game, even now, I don't get paid for it. I do it because it's the right thing to do, and I want to cover the teams, and I feel like that's going to help me do my job better here. But to be disrespected like that is something, I'm not a person that kind of holds on to grudges and shit, but I certainly won't forget it, that's for sure. What's bucking? Not happy with K. Dotton. Are you in agreement with what's bucking? Not happy? So over this team, damn, I try so hard to support them. Are you that? Are you that guy? Are the Bucs bringing back Brent Bettison? It looks like it. So a 3-year deal. Tatis just hit a grand salami. So no surprise there. No surprise. Dominican 5-0 over Israel. Travis Kelce throws tantrums. Otten is an underrated blocker. Yeah, I'm with you. CJ, I just want some help on defense. I'm with you, buddy. I am with you. You got to get as many people on that defensive side of the ball. Ian Rappaport, again, finalizing the deal, re-signing their standout tight end. Kate Otten taking a big-time target off the market. Did anybody else hear that? I don't know. That was very strange. Bucs are in the mix for free agent corner James Pierre, who worked with new special teams coordinator Dan Smith in Pittsburgh. There you go. I know our guy JC Allen in his battle plan said something about him. Whoa. This is a big move in the NFC South, signing a pass rusher. Yeah, baby. This is what you've wanted to see if you're a fan of the Carolina Panthers. Signing a 4-year, $120 million deal. Jalen Phillips, the former Miami Dolphins draft pick that got traded to the Philadelphia Eagles last season. So a guy that I know last year people wanted. They wanted Jalen Phillips to be an option for the Buccaneers. He comes to the NFC South, all right, but it's not with the Buccaneers. It's with the Carolina Panthers. Cornerback Buster Brown staying in Jacksonville, 3-year, $33 million deal. This is a guy that's just gotten better and better and better. And I remember chatting with our guy Jamal St. Cyr from up there in Jacksonville and saying that name and how much he loved him. Commanders Pro Bowl left tackle Laramie Tunsil reached an agreement on a 2-year, $60.2 million contract extension with Washington, $61.5 in guarantees, including the biggest signing bonus for an offensive lineman at $32.5 million. He was the first $20 million a year offensive lineman, the league's first $25 million, and now the first $30. Wow, man. I guess, smoking weed and the whole thing that he did, I guess it wasn't that much of a difference, huh? I guess it didn't affect him that much, did it? How about last night, real quick, with the Lightning and the Sabres? 8-7, all the penalty minutes. Brandon Hagel gets fined $5,000 because of his attack on Rasmus Dahlin. That game had such a playoff feel to it last night. You never know, man. You never know what's going to happen. Are these guys going to find their way to each other? It damn well could happen. Lightning go down 3-0. You're like, what the hell's going on? Perry scores. Then Tuck scores to make it 4-1. You're like, oh, shit. And then here comes Cooch on the power play. Zemgus scores. JJ scores. You're like, all right. Okay. 4-4 going in the third. It's probably going to be 5-4. Nope. A minute in, Cooch scores. All right. And then point scores. You're like, okay. It was such a weird game where the Lightning are up 2 goals a couple of times. And this was one of those knockdown, drag out. Tage Thompson doesn't score, but he has 4 assists. 12 penalty minutes for Bowen Byram. He had 3 assists. You look at the Tampa Bay Lightning, what they were able to do. Hagel had 11 penalty minutes. Radish had 7. Dastu had 12. Cooch with a 3-point night. Moser, Radish with a 3-point night. Those are fun, man. Those are freaking fun. But again, Connor Geekie only playing 7 minutes and 33 seconds. And I asked Julian Breezeball about this, and best believe I'm going to ask John Cooper tomorrow. I don't understand. I don't quite understand why you are so adamant against. And again, we're judging you based on what you're saying, not like what we believe. Part of the reason why Connor Geekie wasn't up here is because you didn't want him to play on the 4th line and not get a bunch of minutes on the power play and things like that. So you keep him there at AHL Syracuse. And then he does a good job, makes the All-Star team, and now it's okay to do that? It's just weird. Like, you wouldn't call somebody else up for that? Call up a Mitchell Chaffee, call up a Stahoviak, call up a Dylan Duke. Why Connor Geekie? I'm going to ask John Cooper that tomorrow, no doubt. All right. I must be the minority because outside it felt nothing like a playoff game. It must be you. All right. Seeing another big news here. Michael Pittman Jr. getting traded to the Steelers. Oh, these things are fast and flying. So, excuse me. So, with Alec Pierce getting all that money, I said earlier, it's kind of weird to pay that guy all that money and him not be your number one. Well, he is now. So who's going to be the quarterback in Pittsburgh? I tell you what, it's going to be a new day there with Mike McCarthy, but you have DK Metcalf on one side. You got Michael Pittman Jr. on the other side. It's going to be pretty enticing for a quarterback. It just depends on who's. It seems like Rodgers has to go back there, right? Yeah, I know. I'm with you. Just talking about the intensity. I know it's not the same. You're not going to see that many goals. You're not going to see that many fights. But it's just, I guess the intensity was like, I guess you're right, guys. Not a playoff game. Very intense. But I think when you're talking about when the goals were scored, that's the big thing, right? When the goals were scored, it seemed like there was a huge celebration from Buffalo. And I like that kind of stuff. So Michael Pittman Jr. going to the Steelers. That is the latest news. Bucks signing Cade Otton, Jalen Phillips, a 4-year, $120 million deal. Wow. Keeping an eye on the rest of this stuff. You're constantly refreshing and going back and forth and refreshing again, and refreshing even some more. Pittman, Phillips, Tunsil, Jalen Watson. So there you go. Commanders and the Colts. Commanders and the Patriots. And I wonder, you think about these teams for Mike Evans if he does leave. Is New England an option? Is Jacksonville an option? Is San Francisco an option? But you look at San Francisco, they're not getting any younger. Kittle, coming off his injury. Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, you got Brock Purdy, Shanahan. They've also not been a team that really dials in on whether or not, when you think about that entire thing. Did I put this at the wrong time? I put that at the wrong time. Yeah, I put that at the wrong time. I said I was going to talk about the Tampa Catholic and Tampa Bay Rowdies thing. That's going to be a little later. So Kenneth Walker signs, Jalen Phillips signs. I'm just trying to make sure that I got everything. All right, and obviously the Rams traded for Trent McDuffie. He reached an agreement yesterday on a record 4-year, $124 million extension that includes $100 million guaranteed, makes him the highest paid cornerback in NFL history. Wow. Now, the thing was with Kate Otten, and this is something from our guy, Rick Stroud. No comment on what I just read. I love when people take news that has been already reported by 7 or 8 people, and then they say, oh, returning to here or coming to here or signed by here per source. Oh, per source? You mean like the internet? Like 10 million other people? No thanks. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Looking at some of these other deals, you kind of wonder. I know there's a lot of people out there. Where is a guy like Malik Willis going to go? Well, answer that question. He's going to Miami, a 3-year, $67.5 million deal with $45 million guaranteed. Ravens signing offensive lineman John Simpson, a 3-year, $30 million deal. Big-time offensive lineman returns to Baltimore. So, again, Malik Willis going to Miami did a really good job every single time his number was called to fill in for Jordan Love. And this is a guy, if you remember a couple of years ago, I know he wasn't the first quarterback drafted, but people were wondering if he was going to be that guy. There were some reports, and I think he got less as we got closer to the draft. But if you remember, before that draft, there were some people wondering if he was going to be a first-round pick. Now, it didn't end up working out like that, and of course, we know what happened, in his last couple of stops. But he really asserted himself well in that LaFleur offense, and now he goes with Hafley, who was their former defensive coordinator in Green Bay, to Miami. So good for him. Good for him. All right, so according to our friends at Pewter Report, the Bucs are bracing for the fact that legendary Mike Evans will be signing elsewhere, as Pewter Report suspected. That's why the Kate Otten re-signing is happening now. Nothing is final until Wednesday, but it's likely Evans departs Tampa Bay to play elsewhere. Wow. That's why I tell you guys time and time again, do not believe this kind of stuff unless you hear it from Scott, Rick, Greg, Ira, guys like that. Pewter Report, Joe Bucks fan. But if that's what Pewter Report is saying, those are the guys I believe. No doubt about it. So, a black cloud, certainly. Here, my God. Steve, Joe Burrow's going to die since he doesn't show up the line. You got that right, buddy. Isaiah Likely to the Giants, Jeremy says. So, Isaiah Likely, the tight end, who's done a really good job. It's a 3-year deal to bring him to the Giants. Neville Gallimore signing with the Bears, 2-year, $12 million deal. And yeah, I'm with you. When you look at Isaiah Likely, making some big grabs for them and really consistent and really dependable when a guy like Mark Andrews went out. So He follows his old coach, John Harbaugh, to the Giants. New target for Jackson Dart. It's on the Glazers for bringing back Todd if that does happen. Interesting. If Mike doesn't come back, who do you blame? Whose fault is it? Right? Is it on Todd? I don't know. I don't know if there's really anything that they could have done to bring him back. Did you guys watch the UFC fight on Saturday? The BMF headliner between Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway was just not great. Drew Dober with the big knockout on Michael Johnson, Greg Rodriguez with a knockout. I mean, one of the biggest things was Cody Garbrandt getting kicked in the nuts 4 times. And then the announcement of the White House card, UFC Freedom 250, Freedom Fights 250, June 14th. And it'll be Ilya Topuria and Justin Gaethje at the top of the card, Alex Pereira and Cyril Gane, Sean O'Malley and Eamon Zahabi, Mauricio Ruffi and Michael Chandler, Bo Nickel and Kyle Dackhouse, and Diego Lopez and Steve Garcia. Okay, good fights, good fighters. I want star power. I want a John Jones. I want a Brock Lesnar. I want a Ronda Rousey. I want a Conor McGregor. I want something. I want something that's gonna make me move the needle. Casual fans bring in. Give me a freak show. Give me something crazy. Give me anything. No good. No good. And as far as the BMF title goes, they need to change what they're doing with the BMF title. Now, I understand it's MMA, and I understand that Charles Oliveira did whatever he had to do to win that fight. And for him to win that fight, it was to take it to the ground, look for a submission, and just dominate position against Max Holloway. I get that. That's MMA. But a lot of people were underwhelmed. A lot of people were disappointed because I think we have kind of associated the BMF title with like a stand-up fight. 2 badasses that weren't going to go to the ground, and they were just going to stand in the middle of the octagon and throw bombs. Now, is that fair to MMA fighters? I don't care if it's fair or not. I mean, I don't think it's Charles Oliveira's fault that he took that fight to the place where it gave him the best chance to win, because the only place that Max could win that fight was on the feet. But I think the UFC needs to look at the BMF title, and I think they need to change the rules. I think they need to make an adaptation to the rules for the BMF, even if you want to call it BMF division. I don't think you eliminate the ground game altogether, but I think there's only a certain amount of time you should be allowed on the ground to ground and pound or search for a submission before it gets back up to your feet. Because the BMF is something that you created. Like, nobody else has that. So you can make the rules whatever you want them to be. And if you don't want more people to get pissed off and not really care about the next BMF fight, you need to put 2 stand-up guys in there the next time you're fighting for that belt. Make it a one-night tournament. Give a guy an incentive for a knockout. Change the number of the rounds. Do something different. And don't tell me rules can't change. I mean, 50 years ago, we didn't have 2-point conversions in the NFL. We didn't have the 3-point line. We didn't have shootouts in hockey. We didn't have a ghost runner on second base and extra innings for the MLB. Rules change all the time. And you're the UFC. Don't act like you're this big governing body that if you change it, everybody... You change that all main event fights are 5-round fights, even if they're not title fights. So I don't want to hear it. If you're the UFC, change the rules for BMF. You are the monopoly. You are the King Kong. You're the Godzilla. Whatever you say goes. But unless you want people to get pissed off when they see something like that again and again, it's not on Charles Oliveira. But if you want to reinvigorate fans and excite them when it comes to the BMF title, something that you created out of nowhere, you need to change the rules drastically, or more apathy is going to follow your product, or more people are just not going to tune in to those fights. They want to see a war. They want to see a firefight. That's what BMF is supposed to be all about, not fending off submissions for 25 minutes. Snooze Fest 2026. And good on Max Holloway, too. I mean, so many other people would have gotten tapped out once they got their back taken like that, but he didn't. It was pretty amazing, to be honest. Incredible. Nathan Elliott. I will not believe Mike Evans is gone until I see it from Mike. A big thank you again to our partners, Honest Hammer Custom Builders LLC and EverHealth. Couldn't do this without you guys. Thank you so much. Make sure everybody out there, when you're watching, kill that like button right now. Whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitter/X, kill that like button and share this on your social media platforms. Honest Hammer Custom Builders LLC for all your residential and commercial needs. 813-244-0956. TheHonestHammer.com. TheHonestHammer@gmail.com. The man, the person that you really want to trust. Licensed general contractor, CGC 153-1166. They are the best. And of course, EverHealth, everhealth.org. Sliding scale for the uninsured. They take all kinds of insurance. They want to help you. Dr. Carlos Rodriguez joins us every Thursday for the EverHealth Injury Report. I saw my guy Ben Gilbert yesterday. He was at the game for USF. We love it, and we love EverHealth, the EverHealth Institute. Very similar thing that I went to when I went to broadcasting school to set my career on the right path. Definitely, everhealth.org. Robert Cochran, Todd has got to go. Not happening quite yet. Jason Light and Josh Grizzard. Todd is not a great head coach. Bears signing Neville Gallimore. We got that. Bucks are not doing crap. We can't let what happened with Stammer and JBB. Jason Light is JBB 2.0. Thanks for letting our franchise cornerstone walk, bud. The Glazers should have given Mike whatever he wanted. Should have given Mike a key to the city if that's what he wanted. Shame on the Glazers. Shame on Jason Light. Good day, buddy. Malik to the Dolphins. Eric Rivera, happy with that. Listen, I don't necessarily know if it's about money with Mike. And I think that's what's going to hurt people more than anything. Because you're going to look at something and you're going to go, blah, blah, blah. They couldn't pay him that. It doesn't look like Mike wants to sign here. People don't want to say the quiet part out loud. It's not about the money. Kingsley Enagbare heading to the Jets for 1 year and $10 million, former pass rusher from the Packers. Also, the Saints signing veteran D tackle John Ridgway to a 2-year, $6.2 million deal. This is another guy that I thought that the Buccaneers should look into. And I see my good friend T-Kraz saying Boye Mafe, a guy that had 2 sacks last year. I don't necessarily know why he was the guy that he was looking at. I got to look into that. But I thought Joseph Asai would have been a guy that would have been a very similar deal to a Shaq Barrett from a couple of years ago. There with Trey Hendrickson, he had 5 sacks, 21 tackles last year. Well, no chance of that anymore because he is gone. He's going to the Jets on a 3-year, $36 million deal that includes 22.5 first fully guaranteed. Akyleb Evans goes to the Panthers, or he re-signs with them. Cornerback, James Pierre, who we just mentioned could have been an option for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, signs with the Vikings. 2-year, $8.5 million deal, 3.7 guaranteed, 2.5 signing bonus. So that's a special team standout we thought could come here to the Buccaneers. But no, Steelers giving Michael Pittman Jr. a new 3-year, $59 million deal. Source says, so there you go. He gets paid out there in Pittsburgh. And the other thing about this whole Mike Evans thing is, and why we've been hearing like, oh, you got to wait until this time and that time. Like, the Buccaneers need to know. They need to know what the hell's going on. I think that they would have signed Kate Otten regardless. So I don't look at that, and I know that our pal said that Scott Reynolds from Pewter Report that they want to have, they can't wait. So they have to bring a Kate Otten in, and that could mean that Mike Evans could be moving and going on elsewhere. But I don't know. I don't think that's one of the things that's going to knock him out of contention. I mean, Kate Otten, really? Is Kate Otten that guy? It's a 3-year deal. I don't think it's going to break the bank. So it's not something that I'm like, oh, wow. Kate's staying, Mike's not. But hard not to believe our guys at Pewter Report. So we're keeping an eye on the update that is going on right now. Guys are going all over the place. We have not seen the Buccaneers really make a move outside of Kate Otten returning to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What do you think of that situation? Bayswag 67. I don't know what to think, bro. I'm so scared. I don't want this to be another Stammer situation, bro. And I think it possibly is. I think it possibly is. Realtor David, man, when will Jason Light finally get fired and stop making this team stall and regress? The most significant thing we could do to improve is fire Jason Light. Not a Jason Light fan. I think when you look at Jason Light, I think a lot of it has to do with what has happened with Tom Brady and, to the fact that, like, the Glazers like Jason Light and they like Todd Bowles. That's the thing. I know a lot of people don't want to hear things like that because it is a ruthless business at time, but it's kind of the reality of the situation too. 4 USF women's basketball player earned American Conference postseason honors. Carla Brito, second team all conference. Stephanie Ingram, third team all conference. Eden Battle, third team all conference, and all newcomer. And Katie Davidson, all newcomer team. So shout out to Carla Brito, second team all conference, second straight season, 6 straight double doubles from February 14th to 91. She had 19 rebounds against Tulane. One of the most impressive performances I've ever seen at the Yuengling Center that day. The way that team shared the ball and the way that she rebounded again 19 times. Still waiting, guys and gals, if anything happens. Looks like the Titans have agreed to terms on a 2-year deal with Mitchell Trubisky. So there you go, Mitchell Trubisky. And Demario Davis. This is a guy, wow, how cool is this? Mario Davis leaving the NFC South, leaving the Saints. He's 37 years old. He signs a 2-year, $22 million deal that includes $15 million guaranteed. He goes and plays for one of his former coaches in Aaron Glenn. And listen, Demario Davis, I mean, you're talking about leadership. Could they lose Cam Jordan and Demario Davis in the same backfield or the same defense? Possibly. And remember, Demario Davis got drafted by the Jets back in the day. So how the hell did I just do that? I just changed the whole thing on my computer. There we go. That was so funny. Somehow the font got like 150. I was like, oh, Jesus. So there you go. Demario Davis out. And that's a guy. That was a dude that time stood still for him. He was a guy that could still play at a high level. And when you're looking at Aaron Glenn in year 2 with the Jets, you got to make sure that you have some veteran leadership there and guys know what you can do because that shit was ugly last year. Ugly. So for Mr. Glenn, who was with the Saints back in 2016 to 2020 as a defensive backs coach, he knows what he's getting when it comes to a guy like Demario Davis. So you're going to give him every opportunity to succeed, Aaron Glenn, especially a defensive-minded head coach. Have him bring his guys in. And I like that they gave him another year. I know a lot of Jets fans are not happy, including our pal Jake Asman, but you got to kind of see what you got with this guy. Austin Hooper back to the Falcons after a couple of years on a 1-year deal worth $3.25 million. So he'll be there playing with Michael Penix Jr. and Kevin Stefanski, and we'll see him with the Buccaneers, I'm sure, in the NFC South. We're keeping you guys abreast of the big situation and the big deals here in the NFL free agency. At 12 today, the legal tampering period opened up. So when it opened up, a lot of things happened. And we are still waiting on what is going on with Mike Evans. Wow. This is a good point for Jalen Phillips. And this is what our guy Scott Reynolds told those Bucks fans who are praising Howie Roseman and the Eagles for trading for Jalen Phillips and ripping Bucks general manager Jason Licht for not doing it. Eagles just rented a pass rusher for half a season for a third-round pick and a first-round playoff loss. Now he's in Carolina. Yeah, I get that. But I think sometimes you have to understand that you got to, take chances. You don't sit back and just wait for the world to change and you don't play a part at all. So there you go. Mario Davis, yeah, he is gone. He's going to the Jets. Is Cade Otton really going to be our splash? I'm not mad. I'm disappointing. And let's not forget, you don't win or lose the Super Bowl in the offseason. It sucks at the time. It really is. It's like the beauty pageant. You want to be the team that wins free agency. You want to win the trade deadline. You want to be that team that everybody's talking about. Look at those moves. I can't believe that. At the end of the day, it's not as important as you think. But it also can be franchise altering when it comes to guys moving on. And unfortunately, Mike Evans, it looks like a lot of people are thinking that he's leaning towards getting out of here. All right, give you a big overview so far today of what we already knew. Looks like Travis Kelce expected to return to the Chiefs. They also brought in Kenneth Walker Jr., so signs a 3-year, $45 million contract there. 49ers opening to trading left tackle Trent Williams. Romeo Doubs looks like he's leaving Green Bay. Alec Pierce stays in Indianapolis on a 4-year, $116 million deal. They trade Michael Pittman Jr. to the Pittsburgh Steelers. He ends up signing a contract with them to form a 1-2 punch with DK Metcalf, Olamide Zaccheaus. He leaves Chicago, goes back to Atlanta. So the Falcons bring back a couple of familiar faces in Zaccheaus and Austin Hooper to work with. Michael Penix Jr. Could Tua Tagovailoa be next? New England Patriots, 3-year, $39.5 million deal with free agent pass rusher Draymond Jones. I know there were some Buck fans hoping that they would kick the tires on that. He's not the only pass rusher to leave, though. Joseph Osai leaves the Cincinnati Bengals. He goes to the New York Jets. Cade Otton coming back with the Buccaneers, really their only splash of the day. Jalen Watson, corner, leaves the Chiefs to go to the Rams to hook up with Trent McDuffie, who they just acquired in a trade earlier, or was it Monday? Last week, and then signed him to a big contract, highest paid corner of all time. And then Laramie Tunsil, 2-year, $60 million extension for his $20, $25, and $30 million left tackle in NFL history. Probably one of the biggest moves of the day so far. Jalen Phillips signs a 4-year, $120 million deal with the Carolina Panthers after spending the second half of last season with the Philadelphia Eagles. $80 million in guaranteed money right there. Malik Willis, no longer a backup with the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love. He is now the new starter for the Miami Dolphins after they cut Tua Tagovailoa, and they're on the hook for a shit ton of dead money. Neville Gallimore, 2-year, $12 million deal to help fortify the interior of that defensive line for the Chicago Bears. Isaiah Likely joins his former coach John Harbaugh in New York with the Giants on a 3-year deal, $30 million. That Pittman deal, 3 years, $59 million. James Pierre, a standout special teamer, leaves the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Bucks were thought to have some interest. 2 years, $8.5 million to go to the Minnesota Vikings. Really well-coached team there. You know how much I love Kevin O'Connell and that relationship with Brian Flores and the whole crew there. Kingsley Enagbare heads to the Jets. So it looks like the Jets are trying to make moves on the defense, bringing in Demario Davis and Kingsley Enagbare to help out Aaron Glenn. If you're going to sign a defensive-minded coach, this is what you have to do. And the Buccaneers, a new signing for them. They bring in another running back to help out. And I like this move in a big way. And it's Kenneth Gainwell, the former Memphis standout. Played with the Eagles, played with the Steelers. 2 years, $14 million deal per source, $7 million a year. This is from Jeremy Fowler and ESPN. The reason why I love this deal, I'll tell you here in a second. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. All right. So I'm going to tell you a reason why I like this move. And don't give me any of the numbers. It's not about that. 2-year deal, whatever. The one thing that sticks out about Kenneth Gainwell, okay, is a guy like Kenny Gainwell is one of the most versatile backs that I think we've seen in the NFL here in the last 5 or 6 years. And he did this, and I'm glad he did this in college as well. And when they got the most out of him, he's not like your bell cow tailback. You know, you got Bucky for that. And hopefully at some point they can bring Sean Tucker back. They non-tendered him, but he's going to be an RFA. I think they'll be able to bring him back because, or you never know. For his sake, I hope he goes out and he gets a shit ton of money, but not if you're a Buccaneer fan. But Kenneth Gainwell is a Swiss Army knife that is going to be able to help you in so many different assets of this offense. He's going to be able to run the football. He's going to be able to catch the football out of the backfield. Here's the other thing. He can line up out wide. We've seen him do that before. And it's one thing to be able to be a running back that can catch the ball out of the backfield. It's another one where you can actually line up as a wide receiver. So this is a very, very versatile piece for Zach Robinson in this new Buccaneer offense, and it's only $7 million a year. Consummate professional from all that we've heard. I don't hate this deal at all. These are the little moves that help you. I don't like it. I mean, I don't hate it. But what this also means, and we knew this, Rachaad White's gone. We knew that, and I could have told you this a while ago, because once everybody started to show love to Bucky Irving, the interest from Rachaad White got less and less. And there's another move for the Buccaneers. They bring in a linebacker. Here we go. The linebacker that the Buccaneers have been wanting. I know there's a lot of fans. Alex Anzalone, the former Florida Gator, signing a 2-year, $17 million deal with the Buccaneers. All right, things are ratcheting up here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's talk about it. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That's what we want to see when we're the Buccaneers. I like that, man. I like that. Linebacker, throw it. We need as many guys on that defense as humanly possible. Ravens free agent punter Jordan Stout reaches an agreement today. Signs with the Giants, 3-year, $12.3 million, NFL's highest paid punter. Listen, if you're going to pay a punter that much, he better be good. There we go. Linebacker. Boom. Alex Anzalone. I like it, man. I like it. Again, it's throwing numbers at situations, get as many people at spots. You need linebackers. You need edge rushers. Reggie Gilliam, a fullback of the Patriots, a 3-year, $12 million deal to the Patriots. All right, good. Good for him. A lot of Ravens going to the Giants. All right, Alex Anzalone, guys. This is a guy that I think a lot of people in their battle plans had as an option for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I think he could go down as a guy that'll be a fan favorite. He's 31 years young. He obviously was very, very good for the New Orleans Saints, and then it's just been a key cog in the middle of that Detroit Lions defense for Coach Dan Campbell. This is a kid that went to Florida, 3rd-round pick again with the Saints back in 2017. He's got 613 career total tackles. He's got playoff experience 4 different years. He really peaked there in 2023 when he had 129 total tackles. He had 95 last year. But this is a guy that is going to give you everything he's got. And here's the other thing to remember. And this is what Buccaneers fans are going to love. He had 95 tackles last year, yes. But he had 9 pass breakups. 9. So this is a guy that is going to come in and not only be able to help you out with rushing the passer and being able to tackle in space, but we've seen this Buccaneers defense gutted the last couple years over the middle of the field. They could not stop a nosebleed. They couldn't guard anybody. And now you're bringing in a guy for this Buccaneers defense that you're going to plant right in the middle and say, this is a guy that's going to be one of the leaders of this team. This is a guy that's going to be one of the captains of this team, probably. I like this move. I really, really do. And again, you look at the term on these contracts, and it's funny how the word term comes up so much more in hockey than everything else. 2-year deal with Kenneth Gainwell worth $14 million. 2-year deal worth $17 million for Alex Anzalone. So, and I got to be honest with you, I don't know if that deal has anything to do with anything else going on. I think if Levante David comes back, he comes back. I think he had to get more linebackers regardless. I think signing those deals at lower, you're not seeing the Buccaneers make a 3-year, $60 million deal right now. You're not seeing them make a 4-year, $180 million deal right now. So as much as I think that it's probably leaning towards Mike Evans not returning, I think they're also looking at this situation where you still have to fortify the other parts of your team, offensively, defensively. You can't just sit on the sidelines with your hands in your pocket going, well, we're not going to do anything until Mike Evans tells us what his intentions are. It's like you're at the prom and you're sitting there waiting to dance with the girl that hasn't even looked your way once all year. And you're like, well, I'm not going to dance unless she wants to dance with me yet. She doesn't even know your name. Don't do that. Don't do that. Go out there, shake your ass. Go out there and make a fool of yourself. Go out there and do the Cupid shuffle. Go out there and teach him how to Dougie. Go out there and do the wobble. Get out there and sign Alex Anzalone. Get out there and sign Kenneth Gainwell. Help guys on offense. Help guys on defense. Do what you can. Great news, Alex Anzalone. Buccaneers, 2 years, $17 million deal. I'm excited. I almost as excited as I am watching the World Baseball Classic. You guys watching it? I am. Love it. Fantastic. The passion that these guys are playing with. Paul Skeens on the bump tonight for USA against Mexico. Love it. And you look at Puerto Rico and the Dominican and all these other countries and how much pride that they play with. Like, that's what's missing from baseball. And it's weird when people, I saw an article today from like, oh, this is what they're missing and blah, blah, blah. Like, if you're picking something like this out and bitching about it, like, what does that say about you? What a miserable fucking life. My God. Holy shit, man. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. This is supposed to be fun. World Baseball Classic's been fun, and it's only going to get better. Because when we get to the nitty-gritty and we start seeing Japan and the U.S. and the Dominican and Puerto Rico going at it, oh, boy. Oh, boy. Watch out. Good night, Irene. That's going to be fan-freaking-tastic. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Bum, 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 bum. All right, so, and again, I can't wait for the game, and I know DR is up again, right, guys? DR. 0-0 Colombia and Panama. Dominican up 6-1 over Israel. Bottom of the first for Brazil and Great Britain. Korea already beat Australia 7-2. We've got Cuba and Puerto Rico at 7 tonight. Wow. Venezuela, Nicaragua at 7, and then Mexico and the USA. 2-2-0 teams at 8 o'clock tonight on Fox. Go check that out. I will be locked in, baby. Cannot wait. But I'm going to make my baseball team run like a track team tonight because I'm pissed about what happened this weekend. Yeah, a lot of things to piss me off, a lot of things to make me happy this weekend. Crazy. Tori, what was the Otten deal, please? I missed it. 3-year deal. So he'll be back with the Buccaneers. It's not going to break the bank, probably around 10 or less. So there you go. Cade Otten, Kenneth Gainwell, Alex Anzalone, early in NFL free agency. How do they address the pass rush situation? Because we know how much of a priority that is, not just for the Buccaneers, but for everybody else. That, however, is probably the position you wait on until you find out what's going on with Mike Evans. And as much as, like, I don't know how long I'm going to be on today, I'm probably going to be on until we find out what's going on with Mike Evans. I think it'd be silly not to. But I sure hope it happens in the next half hour or so. Dustin Smith, perfect time for the WBC, in my opinion, coming off the Olympics. International competitions are on fire. Well said, Dustin. You bring a lot of great stuff to the show. I got to be honest with you, buddy. It's only going to get better. You think about it. We've seen Jose Contreras' son. We've seen Bo Bichette's brother, Dante Jr. We've seen Manny Ramirez's son. Like, it's cool, man. This is what baseball is supposed to be about. When you're a real baseball fan, this is the kind of shit that you love. The competition, the fire, the energy, not the boring shit that you see on TV sometimes. Woof. Boring. Lazy. Don't cur. Long hair, don't cur. So yeah, Draymond Jones, Patriots. Let me see if there's anything else going on. It's so funny. Bears are signing safety Kobe Bryant. So the former Super Bowl champion goes to Chicago to play with Ben Johnson and those fellas over there. Commanders signing veteran corner Amik Robertson to a 2-year, $16 million deal. So it's another piece lost off of that Detroit Lions defense. And that's why when you're talking about these teams in their windows and thinking, oh, Detroit's going to be there for a long time. Watch out, guys. Detroit's going to be there forever. Well, David Montgomery, in one offseason now, you've lost David Montgomery, Frank Ragnow, right? Obviously gone. Taylor Decker's gone. Alex Anzalone's gone. Kobe Bryant's gone. Kobe was on the Seahawks. Robertson's gone. So you got to strike while the iron's hot. You got to strike while the iron is hot because you don't know how long this team is going to be able to stay together and how well they're going to be able to compete. I'm trying to look at some of these other things. Giants, Jordan Stout, their punter, highest paid punter in the NFL. Isn't it crazy? Highest paid punter in the NFL is a 3-year deal, $12.3 million. You're going to make $4.1 a year. What do those guys do after their careers are over? And I talked to Mark Royals from the Buccaneers. Like, you really have to get back into society. You are not living off of that money for the rest of your life as a punter. That's why those guys play till they're freaking 50. Lucas Ramirez taking Webb deep was magic. It was, man. He dropped the head on that damn thing. You could tell he worked with his dad on that high finish. But excited about the World Baseball Classic. I love it, man. I love international competition, whether it's the Olympics, the Paralympics, the World Cup, the World Baseball Classic. I'm all about it, man. I think it's silly when we get so worried sometimes of oh, well, I'm not happy with our country, so I'm not going to support. That's the dumbest shit I think I've ever heard. So stupid. So something does somebody wrong in your family, you're just going to change your last name. I'm not going to have this last name. You're still American, whether people want to say it or not. Oh man, I'm so disappointed in my son. He failed English. I'm not going to be a Recher anymore. I'm just going to be Jason. That sounds so stupid. Think about that. How dumb that sounds. My country, I'm not happy with my country. It's going on and our president and all these things. So I'm just going to not support the people that are trying to represent the good things in our country. What the fuck is wrong with you, bro? Really? Really? That shit is so crazy to me. You can't compartmentalize. You can't separate the two. That, that's called being an adult. It's called being a rational human being. My God. I just, that really is I think could be a mental health issue, because when you are one of those people that when others are trying to celebrate the good of something, not talking about the entirety of it, not breaking down and making a pros and cons list, but when we're talking about, it's what was it? Debbie Downer on Saturday Night Live. That's what you're living your life. If that's all you're focused on, it's God, what a killjoy. Holy shit, man. No thanks. No thanks. This is a time to celebrate what's right and celebrate coming together and celebrating baseball. It's not a bad thing. It's not a crime to be happy. It's not a crime to appreciate the little things. Your life is here and gone in the blink of an eye. If we take every single moment that we have an opportunity to be proud of our country, of ourselves, and we just constantly fill that shit up with negativity, what kind of life is that to live? Ugh. Vomit. Word vomit. Get bent. Get bent. Get bent. Get bent. Oh, look at these guys. And I'm going to talk about it right now because you tuned in. My guy, Carl Javenko, tuning in and out while working. Have we gotten to the holy war on Himes Avenue yet? I'm mentioning it right now. 813 Prep saw Lucas Ramirez rope a couple doubles for Plantation American Heritage in a losing effort to Jesuit in the 24 state title game. Great hitter. Shout out to our guy, Jared Guthrie, 813preps.com. The 813preps.com number one team on the rankings is the Tampa Catholic Crusaders. They go to Higher Park and they beat one of the top teams in the country, the Jesuit Tigers, 6-2. Caden Wechter, Samir Muhammad on the mound for the Tigers, Talon Miranda, and then Christian Sorales for the Tampa Catholic Crusaders. Standing room only. I rushed all the way from Plant City after our games to catch literally the last inning, but that is unfreaking believable. Unbelievable. To be able to see a team like the Tampa Catholic Crusaders go to Jesuit and beat one of the best teams in the country, beat one of the best pitchers in the country. There's something special brewing over there right now at TC. My guy, Paulie Russo, has done an incredible job. And the combination of Talon Miranda on the mound with Cole Bittman behind the plate, seeing Braden Bouchane, a fantastic defensive center fielder, coming up with some big hits. Torrey Thomas at third base, what he's been able to do. There's something special going on there at TC. And they have 9,575 coaches. And I love them all dearly. They've got 10 of them, so they can literally play a 5-on-5 pickup game. But everything is humming right along for Tampa Catholic. It just means more when you beat Jesuit. And the best part about it is they'll be going at it again. And in the long run, you know, Jesuit, their goal is a state championship, but this one stings a little bit because this wasn't, oh, well, they got lucky. Tampa Catholic played a cleaner game. They played a cleaner game, a more complete game, and they earned that victory. Let me be perfectly completely clear with you, because I watched the game on YouTube before I got there. Jesuit did not lose that game. And I know, talking to my guy, Pat Russo, talking to Champ, you know, 9 out of 10 times Jesuit might win that game, but that one time was Saturday. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. Jesuit has to clean things up. They don't look as sound. They play one of the hardest schedules in the country. One of the best coaching staffs, led by our good friend Miguel Menendez. No doubt about it. But they're not a better team right now than TC. They're not. TC's got a good vibe. The guys know their roles. And listen, when you could have too many chefs in the kitchen with that many coaches and a lot of players, but everything in the way that our guy Paulie Russo has delegated, Tripp and Cole Russo, two former Jesuit Tigers, their impact cannot be understated. Having their dad Champ, Pat there, the experience of coaching these kids on the team and around Tampa, to have the experience of a guy like Tab out there, and Mike Wren, who used to coach at HEC, and Double G, Gary Garcia, who's, you think about a guy that has seen so much baseball here in Tampa Bay. He has such a phenomenal memory. If Double G doesn't remember you, probably didn't make much of an impact. And that's saying something, because Double G's just got such an incredible memory and such a valuable member to the coaching staff. TJ Maloof, another guy that has been around. He's seen the ups and downs of TC. And right now, these guys are firing on all cylinders. They really are. They really are. And my guy, Eric, I cannot leave you out, Eric, because I love you the most. The quiet assassin. He may be the guy you don't hear, but Eric is all over it. Another fantastic coach and a contributor to this team. Did I get them all? Russo. That's 5. Tab, Eric, TJ, Double G, Renner. I got everybody. TC is vibing right now. And Jesuit did not lose that game. Tampa Catholic won it. Don't get it twisted. But this is a what have you done for me lately life and baseball world we live in. Rent is due every day. We'll see. But I think we could be on the precipice of something very, very huge for TC, because they have a deep pitching staff too. Saladino tournament's coming up next week. Some great teams with Wharton and Strawberry Crest and Bloomingdale. And how about number 2 team, Jefferson? Center Nunez and the Dragons are doing an incredible thing. Listen, the Saladino tournament is the first year that they're doing it without the late, great Tony Saladino. I miss him every day. It's very special. And if you want to check out the brackets and everything, you can go to my friend 813preps.com. My guy Jared Guthrie. This is when he really shines. He shines all year long. He shines every baseball season, but right here during the Saladino tournament is when 813 Preps really shows you what they do for our kids. Please, if you can donate, Venmo, $20, $40, 60, whatever you do helps, man. Whatever it helps. We got to help our kids. The final of the Saladino tournament next Thursday night, University of Tampa. There's 3 different brackets, gold, silver, and bronze. If I'm TC, I'm trying to win that shit too. And finally, our Tampa Bay Rowdies, a 1-0 win in their first game of the season. So huge for them to be able to come and start the season with a 1-0 win over Birmingham Legion. It's a beautiful thing. Lightning in the area pushed the start back. Weather delay, it wasn't looking good. But when you look at the way that this team is playing, Micheletto with the goal, it was a tough game, but everybody contributed. Micheletto scored in the 57th minute, but a ton of yellow cards. Hilton, Akoff, Perez, Dolabella, Ostrom, Waite. Only 1 for Birmingham. The Rowdies were grinding. They were grinding, and they come away with 3 points to start the season. I couldn't be more happy for my guy, Dominic Casiato and Jeff Athanel and Ryan Helfrich and everybody over there with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Onward and upward. Their next game is actually their home opener on the 21st. For more information, go to rowdysoccer.com. All right, let's get you back to up to date when it comes to this NFL free agency period. Nick Folk, a 2-year deal, the 41-year-old with the Falcons. The kicker, Cade Mays, the Lions are signing him from the Carolina Panthers. Jake Bailey, the punter, from the Dolphins, 3-year, $9 million deal, guaranteed with Falcons. So leaving Miami for Atlanta. That deal for Kobe Bryant, 3 years and $40 million. So as we sit here and wait on the news for Mike Evans, it's like you're waiting for the thunderstorm. And the Titans are signing former Giants tight end Daniel Bellinger, so he goes back with Brian Daboll. How are we feeling, guys, about the Mike Evans situation? Ask me anything. Now's the perfect time. Ask me anything about life, about football, about Mike Evans. Feel free to do that right now on the show. And if you guys want to chime in with the conversation, here is the link. StreamYard.com/8JZNNM8X5E. And there you go. If you want to chime in on the conversation, guys, hit that like button, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter/X. I want to hear from you, but I also want you to like my stuff, share it, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your doctors, tell your dentist, your mailman, let everybody know about what we're doing here on the Jay Recher podcast. It's a little quiet now for NFL free agency for the last couple minutes, and you have to wonder if this is the quiet before the proverbial storm. Just the Folk, Mays, Bailey, Kobe Bryant. Again, Amik Robertson leaves the Detroit Lions to go to the Commanders. Bunch of punters getting signed today. I like that Pat McAfee is like the guy that like everybody tags in to make sure that it gets out there. Pat McAfee also said that he's not going to be working as much with WWE for the time being. And I don't think that's the worst thing in the world, because I think people kind of fell out of love a little bit with him and his role. I think when he came in and he was all hyped and people loved it and it was bringing some new attention and new eyeballs to the product, I think a lot of people were into it. But the fact that, you know, he would leave for a time and then come back and then they got him in the ring, like, I don't know if the match against Gunther really did much. I don't really think people look at that like, wow, that was something that needed to happen. But the thing is I think absence does make the heart grow fonder, and I think there'll be points because Pat McAfee is in the public eye. I think there will be something to the effect of he'll come back one day and people will really enjoy it. He's just a lot, and that's what happens too, man. It's we were oversaturated a little bit with Pat McAfee, right? He's on ESPN. He's got his show. He's on WWE. He's on College Game Day. He's doing all these different things. He's everywhere. And it's tough because you need to be everywhere to try to build that brand. And then when you do get paid that much money, people want to make sure that it's, they're it's money well spent, right? Look at Stephen A. Smith, for lack of a better term. It's just the way it goes. And I think that's what makes, even if you're not a Stephen A. Smith person, you got to tip your hat, because when does that guy stop? When does he stop? Peter Schrager says Jason Light and the Bucks have been desperate to bring back Mike Evans. They've made multiple offers. So if Mike Evans leaves, it is a Mike Evans decision. Oh, where could Mike Evans be going to? We're seeing here from Ryan Recher, is it? 6542. Breaking Mike Evans to the New York Dragons. Mike Evans is leaving and going to the former arena football team that played at Nassau Coliseum, the New York Dragons. You heard it here first, guys. Copy and paste it on all your social media platforms. Schefter didn't have it. Tom Pelissero didn't have it. Rappaport didn't have it. Fowler didn't have it. Schultz didn't have it. Ryan, is it Recher? Ryan Recher? 6'5". What the hell those numbers mean? 6'5", 4'2", and you just forget the 3? That's not even anybody's birthday. What the hell's wrong with you? LMAO Ryan. Oh, Marissa, I think you and Ryan may have the same birthday. How about it? So there you go. Mike Evans leaving the Buccaneers to play for a arena football team that doesn't exist anymore. It's a beautiful thing. Detroit Tigers two-time Cy Young Award winner Tariq Skubal is scheduled to announce his decision this afternoon on his plans for the duration of the WBC and Tigers' return. I mean, if I'm Skubal, I'm throwing one more time in the WBC. Who gives a crap? Who cares? Go out there and throw for your country. I love it. Skeens tonight, throwing cheese. I love it, man. Represent your country. Be proud. Be proud of where you're from. Be proud. All right. Any other news? Because if there is any other news, I'm going to take a little bit of a break in, and if something happens with Mike Evans, I'll pop back on. Alrighty, tighty whitey. Brees Hill. Franchise tag for the Jets, $14.2 million. Damn sure we got a lot of money in Florham Park. All these contracts, dudes signing. That's funny. And then Giants again. Daniel Bellinger is going to the Tennessee Titans. All right, guys. I'm going to hop off here. I'm going to get this stuff all posted and everything. Great show today on the program. We'll pop back on with some breaking news with Mike Evans. Best believe. But I'm not just going to sit here. Nope, nothing. You like that? I was like, nope, nothing yet. Watch what happens. I'm going to sign off from here, and then what's going to happen? 2 minutes later, Mike Evans is going to sign with the Buccaneers, hopefully. Let's talk about that Big Pens comeback last night to Nope. You are the Carolina correspondent, Stephen H. Garner, with a PH, not a V. What the hell's wrong with you? You and your 97 kids with your better half, Mel Laurie. No, you are the Carolina correspondent, not the Steel City correspondent. If you want to give up your Carolina correspondence, you have to submit formal paperwork and you can't do two, right? I'm already giving you 2 states. You can't be the Carolina correspondent and the Steel City correspondent. You're going to have to argue with our guy Tim Benz from PGH to make that happen. All right. I love you all. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms. Deny Boston. You're right, though. I hate Boston. At JRetro on all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. I love you all. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well. Kill that like button if you can. And share on all your social media platforms. Every super chat helps. 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, whatever you do. Our guy Richie P donated $50 last week. That's the only way we're going to keep this thing going. That and our partners here. Honest Hammer Custom Builders, LLC. And of course, Evra Health. All right. I love you all. we'll see. Maybe I'll talk to you in a couple minutes when we find out more about Mike Evans. But that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the Jay Recher podcast. We're live from Benchmark International Arena tomorrow at noon. I love you all.